When it comes to comic book giants, superheroes, and villains, there is no denying the fact that size indeed does matter. Be it the mighty Promethean Giants or hellish monsters such as Brimstone, some DC characters have an advantage over their opponents merely due to their towering appearances. They manage to intimidate their opposition in a face-off without putting in any actual effort, and their size seems to be their biggest asset. Today, we shall look at every last DC character who has grabbed eyeballs due to their size and rank them all. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Validus. Standing tall at about 15 feet, Validus was the most powerful member of the supervillain team Fatal 5. He debuted in DC's Adventure Comics as one of the threats faced by the League of Heroes, and he can best be described as a brute force. Weighing around 750 pounds, Validus managed to balance a lightweight frame, and he especially stood out among other giants due to his agility. Despite being humongous, Validus could move around with great speed and refused to let his size weigh him down in any way. His size helped him attain superhuman strength, and it was said that Validus was even stronger than Superman. It was nearly impossible for just one superhero to be able to bring him down, and in one instance, Superboy, Mon-El, and Ultra Boy had to join hands to face his towering presence and defeat him. Validus's gigantic size made him immune to most attacks, while at the same time, he could fire energy bolts from his brain to bring his opponents down in a matter of seconds. Validus had inherited these powers from his parents, Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, and later mutated into the beast we are familiar with under the watchful eye of Darkseid. Chemo. As the name suggests, this humanoid monster was a vessel of chemical waste created by an eccentric scientist named Ramsay Norton. Norton had innumerable failed experiments over his career, and he created a 25-foot-tall plastic vessel to dump the waste he had accumulated over the years. While Norton hoped that this would motivate him to work harder, Chemo soon took the form of a humanoid monster and poisoned Norton. Now that it was unleashed, Chemo wreaked havoc across the DC universe and proved to be undefeatable. Since it did not have a spirit, it couldn't be completely eradicated, and Chemo had a notorious habit of taking new forms and making comebacks after every defeat. It typically weighed around 3 tons and could change its form to grow even taller than its standard 20-foot-tall height if the situation called for it. Moreover, Chemo possessed biofusion and toxicokinetic skills as well as superhuman strength and stamina, making it quite a deadly force to reckon with. Brimstone. Created by none other than Darkseid, Brimstone first appeared in Legends in 1986, where he was introduced as a 50-foot-tall monster. He came into creation in Darkseid's experimental fusion chamber in New York City and claimed to be an avenging angel who hoped to eradicate every false god in the universe. Brimstone was said to weigh around 60,000 pounds, but some iterations of this character weigh as much as 2,500 pounds. Of course, that is quite a considerable size in itself, and Brimstone is inarguably a humongous character, no matter what form he takes. Besides his size, he possessed superhuman strength and pyrokinetic abilities, allowing him to shoot fireballs from his eyes and incinerate everyone in his path. He quite literally came into existence through a nuclear reactor, and his body was created from plasma that could burn through any being or object that inched close to him. Atom Smasher. Best known for his ability to alter his size, Atom Smasher, also known as Al Rothstein, was a regular human with a height of about 7 feet 6 inches. However, exposure due to an uncontrolled thorium radiation gave him the ability to alter his mass and grow up to 60 feet tall. He could do this by dispersing his atoms and spreading them out so that he could increase his size. His weight was multiplied by his height, and his body mass expanded within a matter of seconds to give him a bulky appearance. As Atom Smasher grew in size, he gained considerable strength and durability, which equipped him to defeat his opponents while remaining in peak physical form despite their attacks. Across his story arc, Atom Smasher worked alongside the Justice Society of America and Infinity Inc., and he has prominently appeared in several story arcs that feature Black Adam. Titano. As the name suggests, Titano was a magnificent titan who first appeared in the DC Comics Superman series in 1959. This gigantic ape was inspired by King Kong and was said to have growth alteration abilities that allowed him to grow taller than most skyscrapers in New York City. Often referred to as Titano, the super ape, this mutated chimpanzee, was created by Dr. Thomas Moyers in an attempt to create a superweapon. While Moyers' experiment went haywire, Titano emerged as a magnificent beast with size alteration powers and wreaked havoc in Metropolis until Superman intervened. The two ended up in a face-off, where Lois Lane intervened and subdued Titano in a kind and gentle manner. After having been treated as a lab rat his entire life, Titano retreated out of respect for Lois Lane on this occasion, but continued to be one of Superman's fiercest opponents. In addition to his gigantic size, Titano had superhuman strength and durability due to Moyers' experiments, as well as the ability to shoot powerful kryptonite laser beams from his eyes. AntiMonitor. Created to serve as a counterpart to Marvel's Galactus, DC Comics' AntiMonitor is a cosmic entity powerful enough to devour entire planetary systems at once. First introduced in the Crisis on Infinite Earths story arc in 1985, AntiMonitor relied on the energy of other planets to create antimatter to fuel his strength. He varied in terms of appearance, wherein he sometimes appeared as a 9-foot-tall entity, while looming over others with a height of at least 100 meters on other occasions. He's considered to be one of the greatest comic book villains of all time, and what makes him stand out among other giants is the fact that he did not need his size to win any fights. AntiMonitor was known for his intelligence and genius-level IQ, which was more than enough for him to best his opponents, and his gigantic appearance only served as an additional advantage. Giganta. Quite literally known as Giganta, this superwoman first appeared in Wonder Woman comics in 1944, where she was a seemingly normal human and a brilliant scientist. Over the course of her story arc, Giganta was involved with the Injustice League, Legion of Doom, and the Secret Six, among other teams, and she gained the ability to increase her size and mass in the 1978 story The Challenges of the Super Friends. She was about 6 feet 6 inches tall as her regular self, and just like Atom Smasher, Giganta could increase her body mass and size to grow a few hundred feet tall. She often appeared as a foe to Wonder Woman, and Giganta once even fought Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl, and Power Girl all at once. On Earth 2, Giganta was introduced as an ape who evolved into a red-haired giant woman as a result of Professor Zool's experiments. While she was a tough nut to crack, Wonder Woman eventually defeated her and took her to Paradise Island, where Giganta ended up joining a prison rebel team, Villainy Inc. Solaris, the Tyrant's son. Most popularly known as Superman's nemesis, Solaris was a sentient artificial sun from the 853rd century. This sentient being was often called the Tyrant's Son or the Evil Star, and it first appeared in Green Lantern comics as a supercomputer from the future. This evil sun managed to create itself through its ability to manipulate time, and it later stirred up trouble for the mighty Galactus. While Galactus was powerful enough to consume planets, he decided to keep a safe distance from Solaris, which tells us everything we need to know about its dangerousness. Solaris was ginormous in size and made no attempts to hide its evil nature, which made it quite a nefarious villain in the DC universe. It was made from an invulnerable alloy, and its ability to project energy in the form of concentrated radiation ensured that most superheroes would stay far away from it. Throughout its story arc, Solaris reached new heights of malevolence until Superman Prime used the Green Lantern ring to destroy it. MoGo, the Living Planet. Primarily known as a sentient planet, MoGo was first introduced as a member of the Green Lantern Corps in Green Lantern comics in May 1985. It was often seen with a green band around it to represent his affiliation with Green Lantern, and MoGo also took the responsibility of guiding the Green Lantern rings to their new owners after the previous hosts passed away. As a gigantic planet, MoGo had immense size and was inarguably the largest, most sizable member of the Green Lantern Corps. It played a key role in the battle against Superman Prime during the Infinite Crisis story arc, as well as the Sinestro Corps War and the War of the Green Lantern. During this time, MoGo was corrupted beyond redemption by the Mad Guardian Krona, and John Stewart had no option but to kill MoGo with a powerful energy blast. Imperia X. First appearing in the Our Worlds at War storyline in Superman comics, Imperia X was an invulnerable force of nature that contained the literal power of the Big Bang within it. Often referred to as the Destroyer of Galaxies, Imperia X's character was inspired by Marvel's Galactus, but he had some additional powers that made him an even more vital force of nature. He was the literal embodiment of entropy, and he could create or destroy entire universes. Since the dawn of time, Imperia X repeatedly destroyed universes and took the form of pure energy to create a brand new universe from the ashes of the old one. He donned a humanoid suit of armor to contain his energy, and this piece of armor can be described as colossal in size at the very least. He operated on a universal level, and there aren't enough words that can capture the enormity of his presence. Promethean Giants. The Promethean Giants were interstellar entities first introduced to New Gods comics in 1971, and they were described as astronomical beings who could not be defeated by just any weapon. They existed in a league of their own, and it was said that it would take about 1 billion years for someone to even feel a single heartbeat. The Promethean Giants increased their size to light years in an attempt to break through the source wall, and they are inarguably one of the most terrifying villains to ever appear in the DC multiverse. What makes them so dangerous is that they are shrouded in mystery, and they wield cosmic power that can destroy entire universes in the flick of an eye. Some Promethean Giants include Darkseid's father, Yuga Khan, the all-knowing High Father, Relic, and Metron, who were all about light years tall in length. After they failed to breach the source wall to understand the mysteries of the cosmos, they continued to exist in time and space, where they lived in shame and agony in the wake of their failure. Perpetua. Often depicted as the DC counterpart of Marvel's abstract entities Infinity and Eternity, Perpetua is said to be the creator of every last life form in existence. Of course, she was astronomical in nature, and she even created the Great Army, which was among the first Promethean gods to be introduced in DC lore. Perpetua later created AntiMonitor, World Forger, and DC Giants, among other beings, and was thus hailed as the mother of the multiverse. It is nearly impossible to describe her size, and she loomed over every single entity across infinite multiverses that made up the DC lore. She was an omnipotent being who could wield energy to create life forms, alter reality, resurrect beings, and even alter her size. While there is no limit to her size, we have seen her grow to the size of at least several planets. In one such instance, Perpetua enlarged herself to hold the entire multiverse in her hands, which is quite an unimaginable feat for most supernatural beings. Marvelous verdict. In a world where superpowers can make or break one's story arc, these gigantic beasts have proven that sometimes one's inherent size is the only weapon you need to defeat any and all kinds of opponents. Be it the living planet of MoGo to the Promethean Giants, every last entity explored in this video has managed to make an impressive mark on the DC universe. And we want to hear your favorites in the comments below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.